Woodchuck. Good evening. I am the Muscular Socialist. My name is Sean Eugene Boy, and this is episode 4 of my new political ideology, which I think will transform the planet, and maybe some other planets as well. I'm looking for some big changes on Saturn, actually, but let's stick to planet Earth for the moment. So as I explained, my new ideology is based on the Ragged-Trousered Philanthropists by Robert Tressel, and the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, an Irish sign writer and a Roman emperor. Perfect combination. And this episode I'm kind of just going to develop it a little bit more, and I'm going to talk about the two things that are very, very important to me, part of my own personal ideology, which is muscular socialism. But the two things that I'm going to focus on today, the first one is trade unions and trade unionism. And the second thing is something called the obstacle. Sounds very mysterious, but so I'm going to talk about those two things. So first off, trade unionism, which I think probably is one of the greatest ideas Homo erectus has ever had. That and dime bars, because without trade unions, what would the 80% be doing other than having more miserable, awful lives? Like I said, the 20%, they're sweet. They don't need unions. They're beautiful and crazy, and they do their stuff. But I'm part of the 80%. I'm the working classes of the world, and we need structure, and we need representation, and we need to have a voice, and we need to have a life, a really happy life. Why can't we have one? And unions, over the 100 or so years they've been around, have really provided, the good things of the 20th century and the 21st century. I'm talking about things like the weekend. I was talking to some young people, what do we need unions for? I said, well, you know what? Today's Saturday. Back in the day, you'd be working today. But unions secured the 5-day week, the 40-hour week, pensions, working in conditions, anything you could possibly think of. This amazing run of successes where 1 minute we're up a chimney stack with our bosses, hollering, "You cleaned it yet, boy?" And I'm like, I happen to be 12. I think that's still going on in certain parts of the East End, isn't it? No, probably not. But and then the next minute we've got power, we've got unions, we've got a voice. And this is because, when you're small and you've got something that's a bit bigger than you, 9 times out of 10, David doesn't beat Goliath, really. But you join together with other little Davids, and you're not a speck. You can say, suddenly it's boom, and it's natural. It's what nature wants, Something's coming this way, it's kind of Newtonian, and then obviously something's just got, because humans want equilibrium. And for me, trade unionism is that wonderful device that working class people have, And you can tell, I'm going to talk about it in later videos, but between 1945 and 1980, the working classes had started to have a voice. They started to be heard, taken seriously, and take themselves seriously. Now, a lot of this was pretty much of a white working class experience. I totally accept that. I was very, very young at the time, but it was pretty obvious that if there was racism, rampant racism, terrible homophobia, awful sexism, but if you took that out of the way, right, which is not cool, but if you took that out of the way, just from a purely class point of view, it was one of the halcyon periods of being part of the 80%. And then from 1980 to, I reckon, the end of Truss's government about half an hour ago. So, 1980 to 2022, we saw a massive decline. We saw all that good work be completely reversed. Totally reversed. Where everyone was kind of siloed, we're atomized. We were, the cult of the individual had was being played to the advantage of the employer. And no disrespect, but as benevolent as a billionaire thinks he is, at the end of the day, he's going to do what's going to be right for him. I mean, look what's happening to Starbucks at the moment. Started off being like, hi, like, a university lecturer, call me Dave, and let's have a roll up during my my seminar. You get on the wrong side of him, and suddenly Starbucks are now acting like they're acting like a normal employer. They're going around kicking ass and breaking unions. So that's the first part of it, is trade unionism, which I think is great. And the second thing that I want to talk about is something called the obstacle, which comes from the Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and he sort of says that the obstacle is the way. And this is an interesting concept, especially for people on the left, because usually we would shy away from this completely. We would see this as, as a kind of a right-wing talking point, and we would see this as, pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of nonsense. So we want to kind of avoid that. But I'm afraid we can't. I'm sorry. And it will put me in trouble with people on my side of the argument. And to be quite truthful, I don't give a fuck, to be quite true, because this is so important. Why should the right have all the dynamism and the get up and go and take responsibility for your own actions, which a lot of people, working class people, do? But why can't we have that as part of our ethic? Why can't we have a muscular socialism? Why can't someone, I mean, I've mentioned him before, but why can't someone like Jordan Peterson be appreciated by the left? I mean, I've been listening to people online, talking to my friends, and they go, he's a tosser, I mean, no, he's not. He's a million miles from it. I mean, I don't agree with his politics, he might be. I think he's actually a classical liberal, But what I really agree with him, is his attitude towards self-improvement, facing down your demons, making your life better. It's really important. Now, of course, I'm not going to go up to a single mum with 4 kids or something and say, where's your obstacle? Because she's already got a fucking obstacle. I mean, she doesn't need another, she's working her arse off, But what I'm saying is to have an ethic within working class communities, to say, do you know what? I'm going to make the best of this. And not only am I going to make the best of it, but I'm going to try and make the whole of my community thrive as well. Because as far as I'm concerned, there isn't much difference between Marx and Jordan Peterson. He'll be happy to hear that, will he? But there isn't, because what Marx is saying on a macro level is I want society to sort itself out. And what Peterson is saying on a micro level, on a personal level, is you need to sort yourself out. And I don't see these as adversarial concepts. I don't see them as, I see them as very, very complementary. So the obstacle, finding a weight that's just a bit, you can just about lift, which I think is a great idea that Jordan Peterson, came out with, is definitely the way ahead. And if we could have a code, a personal code, and also a community or a society code, how amazing would that be? Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be just an amazing concept? Because it would sort out so many problems in our society, because we would have a can-do, personal can-do, and at the same time we would understand we have to join together and make society better, which we will do. There's, unionism is back, trade unions are back. If you saw Sharon Graham from the Unite Union, I mean, a fantastic interview the other day on Sky News, very clearly, addressing the needs of working class people in the way that we've been completely and utterly sidelined over the last 40 years. And look where it's got us. We need unions, for Christ's sake. Capitalism needs unions. And I think they're slowly coming around to it, because when Truss came out with her trickle down, when her trickle down came down, even the market said, bollocks, that's not going to work. We've tried that, mate. So if that's not going to work, what is going to work? And I think what is going to work is muscular socialism. Bottom up, like Rosa Luxemburg said. I trust the people. I trust the working classes. I trust, because they're the greatest economists in the world, because every day they live it, And so I think that we need to trust ourselves. We need to empower ourselves, and we need to band together through trade unions to get a better deal for the world. And we're going to get there. I swear, we're going to get there. But also I think we need to do that, that we have to have personal responsibility ourselves. And there's nothing wrong with that, to sort of say, well, if you're a father, you got to do the business as, with your kids. If you've got issues in your life, you've got to try and sort them out. It is a responsibility for you as a human being to do it, because it makes the world better. It makes you happier. And everyone I've ever spoken to about this, including myself, when you have faced down extreme issues in your life, and you've come out the other side, it's a beautiful thing. So that's where I am at the moment with that. Marx and Jordan Peterson, that's beautiful when you think about it. Jordan Peterson would be so, no way, I do not. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put my Das Kapital right next to my 12 rules of life. You two have got to get on. Obviously Robert Tressel and Marcus Aurelius, same thing. Two men who have given birth to muscular socialism. And I think it is something that we really do need to consider, because I see nothing but good times ahead. Neoliberalism has been put to bed, as it should have, because it hasn't worked. It's just, all those claims, all those ideas, all the end of history and all that crap. Mate, no, life is life, and at the end of the day, that system just put all the money into the pockets of about 5 people. And there are 7 billion of us on this planet. So that's not fucking fair. And so we have to devise a new system. And I've found it, all right? It's all right, you're welcome. You're welcome. So it's Saturday night. So what are you looking at me for? You should be out.